Hi everybody, thanks for watching. So one of the most common questions I get on my channel is from people asking, what do you use for your micro SD card in your Mavic Pro and your Mavic Air? What do you think is the best card to get? And it's a really good question because if you look at all the options out there, it's kind of mind-boggling as far as all the different brands there are and all the different statistics, the colors, the names, and everything. And so it's a little bit overwhelming. And so what I wanted to do is a little video today on micro SD cards. And I did one last year on the Mavic Pro. And what I did is I tested out a couple of cards to see if there's any difference in getting some good footage using your Mavic Pro. Now, that video had some good information in it, but I've learned a lot since then. I've studied a lot on micro SD cards. And so I wanted to share that updated information with you guys, and hopefully it will help you as you decide which micro SD card to use in your Mavic Air or your Mavic Pro. So let's get to it. Okay, I'm going to try to keep this video pretty short because I've watched some other micro SD card videos out there and SD card videos that go through all the technical aspects and go through every single number on the card, and which is good, but for me personally, I really don't care. I just want to know what card is going to work in my Mavic Air and my Mavic Pro at the best price. And I think that's what most of you are looking for too. You know, you don't want to spend $89 on a card that you could probably get for $40. And you don't want to buy a cheap card and then when you're trying to get really good footage, it comes out really bad and it doesn't work. And so what I wanted to do today is kind of share with you the cards that I use and why I use them and where I get the information in making the decision on which card to get. And so over the past few months, I've done some reading of some blogs, you know, from camera guys and video guys. I've also watched a few YouTube videos, but I got the best information from one site in particular. His name is David Colbin and he has a photography blog and it's called Have Camera Will Travel. I'm going to put a link down in the description for where I got his information on micro SD cards. It's really great information and he does some practical testing on a whole bunch of different micro SD cards, and that's where I get my information. That's how I decide which card I'm going to get. Now, I don't have the technical skill or the tools to see which card actually is best, which one meets the fastest write speeds and the fastest read speeds that they advertise. And like I said, I really don't care. I just want to know if it works in my drones. And so what I wanted to just show you guys on these cards, I usually use two different cards. I use the SanDisk Ultra Plus, which is the red and gray card right now. And then I also use the SanDisk Extreme Plus, which is the red and gold card. And you really can't go by the color and you really can't go by the names because the names stay the same, but the statistics and the standards change month to month. And so if you're watching this video 6 months from now, it's probably obsolete. So keep an eye on the description and I'll update the information as the technology improves. But basically there's a lot of different numbers on these cards. There's a lot of confusing information on these, and basically there's three things that you need to know. First of all, you need to know the storage capacity, and that one's pretty basic. Now these are both 64 gigabyte cards, and the reason that I use 64 gigabyte cards is because I think it's a good balance between the higher cards, the 128 gigabyte and the 32 gigabyte. Especially if you're shooting in 2.7K or 4K, you're not going to fit much on a 32 gigabyte card. On the other side of it, if you get a 128 gigabyte card and then something happens to that card, whether it gets damaged or you lose it, then you're going to lose all of that data on there. And I just don't think it's worth the risk. And so the 64 gigabytes are affordable, but they provide just enough space for you to get enough footage on them. And then if you lose them or they get damaged, you won't lose as much data as you would if you had a 128 gigabyte card. The other two things that you really need to pay attention to on the card is the speed class. And there's a speed class and there's a video speed class. I know it's pretty confusing, but if you look at that little U, that little bucket shaped thing, and inside there's either a 1 or a 3. Now 1 means that there's a minimum write speed of 10 megabytes per second, and a 3 means there's a minimum write speed of 30 megabytes per second. And then if you look at the video speed class, there's a video speed class of 10, so like a V10 over on the right side there, or there's a video speed class of 30, and those correspond to the same things. 10 megabytes per second minimum and 30 megabytes per second minimum write speed. Now, when we're considering the speed of the card, read speed really isn't as important as write speed. We want the highest sequential write speed that we can get when we're recording 4K footage or high frame rate footage. And the reason for that, according to the experts, is that you get frames dropped, or your video might just stop recording, or sometimes it won't even allow you to record the video. And so that's why the experts say to purchase a higher speed class card. Now the other numbers on there really don't mean anything. The SDXC, that just means anything over 32 gigabytes, and that's pretty much every card out there today. And then now they recently started putting the A1 or A2 on there, and what that has to do with is app speed. So if you're running these cards on your smartphone or some other mobile device, and you're using an application that requires a lot of memory, fast memory, then they have to put a rating on the cards now to tell you if that's going to work for certain apps. And so it really doesn't apply to us as drone owners. Okay, so let's get back to the speed class for just a second. If you look at the Ultra Plus card, it's a video speed class of 10. And according to the Have Camera Will Travel website, he did a speed test, a functional speed test on these cards, and the Ultra Plus scored at about 50 megabytes per second write speed. And the Extreme Plus, which is a video speed class of 30, actually performed at about 88 minimum write speed. And so it's a lot faster. It's almost twice as fast as the Ultra Plus. Now, my biggest question, and the thing that I want to share with you guys, is does that really make a difference in our drones? So even though the experts show that that speed class of 30 is much faster than the speed class of 10, is it going to transfer to actual footage? And so what I did today, I did a little bit of a test. I took my Mavic Air out and I put in the Extreme Plus card first, and I just flew up and down the railroad tracks here, just down and back, and then I put the Mavic Air down and I put in the Ultra Plus card and I put that up and I flew that kind of in the same, it wasn't exactly the same, but kind of in the same pattern as I did with the Extreme Plus. And I just wanted to see if there was any difference using that slower card. Now, of course, when I put the card in the Mavic Air, it did inform me on the DJI Go4 app that I had a slow card. It gave me a little warning and it says slow card installed. And so I was expecting to get some dropped frames, or maybe the recording would stop. And it didn't. It worked just fine. As you can see here, I put the footage side by side. I didn't do any editing. I just moved them over so they showed the same part of the image. And as you can see, there was no trouble at all for that Ultra Plus as compared to the Extreme Plus. So then I was curious, well, what about frame rate? You know, they say the higher the frame rate, the faster video card you need. And so I brought the Mavic Air back down, I put the Ultra Plus in, and I recorded at 2.7K at 60 frames per second, which is something that I really like to shoot in. And there was no trouble at all. It recorded just fine. And then finally, I wanted to try the highest frame rate that you can get on the Mavic Air right now, and that's 120 frames per second at 1080p. And so I did some recording at that frame rate, and there was no trouble at all. By the way, 120 frames per second is super cool. The footage looks amazing. And the Mavic Air actually puts it into slow motion for you. You don't have to do anything. When you take that card out, you put it in your computer and you download it, it's already slowed down and it looks just amazing. So I'm definitely going to do that more. Anyway, for me, in a practical test, I did not show any benefit of using that Extreme Plus over the Ultra Plus card, that video class 30 over the video class 10. Now, one thing that I should say, if you're going to be shooting footage where the subjects are maybe moving around a lot, or there's a lot of different things going on and things are moving quickly, maybe that higher speed card is going to be more important. But for a situation like this where you're shooting a landscape video, you're up nice and high, you're getting some mountains or the lake or some scenery below, I really don't know if you need that higher speed card. Now, one thing that I will point out here, what I did with that first video when I did the side-by-side comparison, I did notice a little bit on the railroad tracks that Ultra Plus card maybe wasn't as sharp of an image. And so what I did is I zoomed into 400% and I put them side by side. And from the looks of this, you can see that the Ultra Plus card really isn't quite as sharp as the Extreme Plus card. Now there's one thing that could be because of the angle of the camera. You can see they're not exact, but to me it looks like maybe it is a little bit sharp. Now I don't know why that would be. The focus is set on the Mavic Air, so it wouldn't be a focusing issue. And maybe it does have to do with the card speed. So if you guys know, if any of you know, maybe that is the issue. Maybe when you really zoom in some 4K footage, that a faster card is going to make the difference. Let me know down in the description because I really can't find anything on that. But as far as drop frames or stop the recording, nothing like that happened with the cheaper card, with the Ultra Plus. And just so you know, you guys, I paid $21 for the Ultra Plus card, and I think I paid just under $40 for the Extreme Plus card. So economically, maybe it pays off to get that video speed class of 10, that Ultra Plus card, because you're getting the same amount of storage and you're still getting the same quality of video at half the price. But I will let you guys know I am going to continue to use the Extreme Plus card just because there might be a situation that might arise where I'm getting some footage and I might need that extra speed. And I'm going to leave the choice up to you guys. I think they both work great, but just in case, I'm going to spend a little bit extra money on that Extreme Plus. If you guys need a micro SD card or you need one in the future, go ahead and click on the link in the description and you're always going to get the lowest price. That helps out this channel a lot and I really appreciate that. Hopefully you guys got some information out of this video. Hopefully I taught you something. If I did, click on that thumbs up button, that like button. That really helps out this channel as well. If you have any comments or questions or anything like that, or if you know that maybe the sharpness issue was because of the faster card, let me know down in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Finally, if you're not subscribed to the channel and you want to learn more about the Mavic Air and the Mavic Pro, click on that subscribe button and join this community. I want to thank you guys sincerely for watching, and as always, fly safe and fly smart.